Washington thought this getaway would be nothing more than a quiet escape. A few drinks on the beach, and some peace away from the noise. But what fans didn't expect, what nobody saw coming, was the sight of Kirk Frost stepping right into the same resort. And not alone. That single moment, caught in a blurry fan video, has now exploded across social media like wildfire. Emotions ran high, whispers turned into full-blown accusations. And one shocking reaction left Rasheeda Frost literally collapsing to the ground in disbelief. Imagine it, a vacation meant to be private suddenly turned into front-page drama. Jasmine, sipping from her cocktail, looking too comfortable. Kirk, stepping out in casual linen like he had nothing to hide. The body language, the closeness, the undeniable chemistry, it was all there, playing out in front of stunned tourists who could not believe they were witnessing it. And as soon as the clip surfaced online, fans were quick to connect the dots. Did Kirk follow Jasmine here on purpose? Was this planned all along? Or worse, was this proof that their years of tangled drama had come full circle in the most public, humiliating way possible? Meanwhile, back in Atlanta, the fallout was immediate. Rasheeda, scrolling through her phone in the middle of a busy boutique opening, froze at the sight of the leaked footage. According to insiders, her legs gave out, and she had to be carried out while gasping. Not again. Not him. Not her. Family and friends rushed to her side, but the damage had already been done. The Frost household was split down the middle. Supporters demanded answers. Critics said they weren't surprised. And the streets were buzzing louder than ever. This is not just another messy rumor. This is the kind of scandal that leaves families divided, fans obsessed, and the entire love and hip-hop universe holding its breath. Because if Kirk and Jasmine were bold enough to vacation together, what else are they hiding? Stay tuned, because this story is just beginning. The tropical sun blazed high in the sky, waves curling against the white sand as though the ocean itself wanted to whisper secrets. For days, fans had seen Jasmine posting cryptic little updates on her socials, pictures of cocktails, toes buried in sand, sun hats that shaded her face just enough to hide her full expression. She wrote nothing too revealing, just emojis and captions like peace or new energy. To her followers, it seemed like nothing more than a break from the constant drama of Atlanta, a small escape from the gossip, the feuds, and the cameras. But what they didn't know was that this so-called vacation was about to become the center of the biggest bombshell in her saga with Kirk and Rasheeda. One fan described it best. You could literally feel the storm brewing in paradise. It started quietly, like these things always do. A tourist at the same resort snapped a harmless video of the beach bar. The clip showed people mingling, ordering drinks, laughing under the hot sun. Then, just a second later, as the camera panned right, there he was, Kirk Frost, wearing loose white linen, a fedora tipped low, sunglasses covering his eyes. But that unmistakable Kirk stance giving him away. The clip would have been just another random celebrity sighting if not for one detail. Jasmine was already seated at the bar, legs crossed, cocktail in hand, glancing toward him like they had been waiting for each other. The internet devoured it within minutes. Fans froze frames, zoomed in, highlighted shadows, and argued over every gesture. Did y'all see how close they were sitting? One Twitter user demanded. No way, that's just coincidence. Another added, Kirk flew across the ocean for Jasmine, and y'all want me to believe Rasheeda didn't know? Please. Threads piled up. Instagram blogs reposted the footage, and soon even bigger outlets caught wind. Suddenly, Jasmine's tropical escape wasn't about peace anymore, it was the spark of yet another love triangle inferno. Behind the scenes, sources claimed Jasmine and Kirk had been texting for weeks, secretly planning to clear the air far away from Atlanta. He told her he needed closure. One insider whispered, but Jasmine wasn't dumb. She knew closure with Kirk always meant more than talking. When they met on that beach, cameras aside, their body language told the story. Kirk leaned in. Jasmine laughed too easily, her hand brushing his arm as though years of denial and scandal never happened. Tourists nearby exchanged stunned glances. Some started filming. Others muttered, "This is messy, real messy." Meanwhile, back home, Rasheeda was blindsided. She had been focused on her businesses, promoting a new line at her boutique, attending meetings, trying to leave the past in the past. But fate, it seemed, had other plans. A friend who didn't want to be the bearer of bad news finally slid their phone across the table to her, showing her the leaked clip. At first, she refused to believe it. "That's not him," she whispered. "That can't be him." But as the footage played on loop, the truth became harder to deny. The man in the video tilted his head just like Kirk. His voice, faint but audible, carried that familiar rasp. And Jasmine's smile was too telling. Rasheeda's chest tightened, her hands trembling as she muttered, "Not again. God, not again." Within moments, her legs gave out, and she collapsed, leaving shocked onlookers scrambling to help. The reaction spread like fire. Social media was split into camps. Those defending Rasheeda, those dragging Kirk for his lack of loyalty, and those mocking Jasmine for always circling back. Hashtags like #VacationGate and #Jasmine and Kirk trended worldwide. Fans dissected every possible angle. Some claimed it was all staged for attention, while others swore it was proof that Kirk never truly left Jasmine behind. A particularly harsh post read, "If you think Kirk's done with Jasmine, you haven't been paying attention for the last 5 years. He always comes back." At the same time, insiders said Kirk's children were furious. Kelsey Frost, who had been vocal in the past about her father's mistakes, allegedly refused to take his calls. "He keeps embarrassing us," she reportedly told a friend. "Every time we think it's over, he goes right back. And Mom's the one who pays for it every single time." Even young Jock chimed in during a radio spot, his voice tinged with disbelief. "Man, I don't even know what to say no more. Kirk, he gotta stop playing with Rasheeda's heart like this. It's not even funny anymore. It's sad." But what stunned fans the most was Jasmine's silence. For once, she didn't rush to clear her name. No Instagram lives. No captions explaining the situation. No defensive rants. Just silence. And in the world of reality drama, silence is louder than words. Too many was confirmation that the rumors were true, that Jasmine was perfectly fine with the world assuming Kirk was with her again. "She loves this mess," one fan tweeted. "She thrives on it. Why else would she let it spin out like this?" Still, whispers grew louder. Some claimed Rasheeda had secretly booked a flight to confront them in person. Others insisted Mona Scott Young was already planning to weave the scandal into the next season of Love and Hip Hop. And the fans, they were glued to their screens, waiting for the next explosive update. Every emoji, every repost, every side-eye glance carried weight. The streets buzzed like a hive, louder than ever, convinced that the love triangle that haunted Atlanta had just been reborn under the Caribbean sun. And yet, even as the chaos unfolded, there was a darker question lurking beneath it all. If Kirk and Jasmine were bold enough to share a vacation together, what else were they hiding? What other secrets had been buried, waiting for the right wave to wash them ashore? The answer, as fans would soon discover, was far more shocking than anyone imagined. Because the beachside reunion was only the beginning and the fallout was about to spiral into accusations, betrayals, and revelations that no one saw coming. The whispers from that Caribbean resort followed Kirk and Jasmine like shadows. Every fan clip, every blurred paparazzi shot, every shaky video from a tourist's phone created a bigger storm. By the time they returned to the States, the frenzy had already consumed Atlanta. The gossip blogs were on fire, headlines screaming, "Jasmine's vacation bombshell," and Kirk Frost caught again. You couldn't open Instagram without seeing memes of Rasheeda collapsing, edited with captions like "Sis deserves better" and "History repeats itself." But inside the Frost household, the drama was even messier. Rasheeda locked herself in the bedroom for hours, refusing to eat, refusing to take calls. She replayed that video of Kirk at the bar, again and again, looking for anything that could excuse him. Maybe it was a lookalike, maybe it was edited, but every replay chipped away at her hope. When Kirk finally walked through the door, she stood up trembling, mascara streaked down her face, and shouted, "How could you do this to me again? After everything I forgave, after everything I built with you, how dare you?" Kirk, as usual, tried his signature calm defense. "It's not what it looks like," he muttered, taking off his glasses, trying to keep his voice steady. "I was just," but Rasheeda cut him off before he could even spin his excuses. "Don't you dare say just talking. Don't you dare stand there and act like I'm a fool again." Her voice cracked, echoing through the house. Even their kids overheard the fight, whispering to each other nervously in the hallway. Meanwhile, Jasmine wasn't hiding. She was spotted back in Atlanta within days, sliding into an upscale lounge as if nothing happened. Fans recorded her laughing with friends, sipping wine, ignoring the chaos she'd unleashed. Some claimed they heard her bragging, "Let them talk. He always comes back. That's his pattern, not mine." The quote spread like wildfire. Screenshots of the alleged conversation flooded blogs, fueling more anger. Fans turned on her instantly. Comments poured in. "So you're proud to be a and girl, your confidence is delusion." The tension spilled into the streets. At a local Atlanta mall, Rasheeda was approached by fans offering support. "We love you, we're with you. one woman told her, hugging her tightly. But in the same breath, whispers of pity followed. Why does she keep putting up with this? People muttered. The humiliation stung worse than the betrayal itself. Rasheeda had built her empire on being strong, independent, a boss who didn't take nonsense. Yet here she was again, left shattered by Kirk's wandering loyalty. Family friends started to take sides. Some begged Rasheeda to finally leave, others told her to think of the kids. Even her mother reportedly confronted Kirk, wagging a finger in his face, warning, "If you drag my daughter down again, I swear you won't have a family left to drag." Kirk sat in silence, hands folded, his face unreadable, but inside, sources claimed, he was panicking, not just about Rasheeda, but about the image he'd worked so hard to repair. One more scandal, one more mistake, and his reputation was permanently tarnished. Then came the twist nobody saw coming. A new video surfaced, not from tourists, not from fans, but from someone close. It showed Kirk and Jasmine inside what looked like a private villa. Not just sharing drinks, but holding hands across a candlelit dinner table. The clip was grainy, but the intimacy was undeniable. Jasmine leaned forward. Kirk whispered something in her ear, and she laughed, her head tilted back, his hand resting on hers. It was the proof Rasheeda never wanted, and the internet knew it. "This ain't no coincidence," one comment read. "That's a man on vacation with his woman, period." The backlash was immediate. Hashtags shifted from jokes to full-on campaigns. Hashtag stand with Rasheeda and hashtag boycott Kirk. Fans flooded Rasheeda's boutique with supportive messages, while Kirk's social media was bombarded with insults and demands for answers. Even celebrities began chiming in. Carly Red, never one to stay silent, posted a cryptic Instagram story. "Some of y'all never learn, and it shows." Bambi added fuel with a shady tweet. "Respect yourself enough to leave the table when love is no longer being served." Fans immediately tied the shade to Kirk and Jasmine, making the drama spread even wider, but the real explosion came when Rasheeda finally broke her silence. She posted a black and white photo of herself, no makeup, eyes swollen, with the caption, "I've been loyal when I should have walked away. I've been quiet when I should have spoken, but God don't like ugly, and the truth always comes out." Within minutes, the post racked up hundreds of thousands of likes, thousands of comments, and endless reposts. Fans rallied behind her, urging her to take back your power and leave the mess behind. Yet deep down, everyone knew this wasn't just about a marriage anymore. This was about a legacy, a brand, a family name entangled in years of scandal. And with Rasheeda's breaking point now public, people wondered, would this be the end of Kirk and Rasheeda forever? Or would history, once again, repeat itself in the most painful way? The answer wasn't clear, but one thing was undeniable. The Frost drama had reignited. Bigger, bolder, and louder than ever before. And this time, the fallout was about to drag in everyone friends even the producers who saw an opportunity for ratings gold. Because what started as a vacation sighting had now snowballed into something more dangerous, and the streets whispered one chilling question. If Kirk and Jasmine had the nerve to vacation together, what secret were they still hiding from the world? The days after Rasheeda's emotional post felt like a storm cloud hovering over Atlanta. Every radio station, every gossip blog, every neighborhood salon was locked on the same subject, Kirk and Jasmine. The speculation turned wild. Some swore the two had rekindled their romance months ago, and the vacation was simply the first public slip. Others suggested Jasmine held something over Kirk, something too explosive to ignore, and that's why he kept circling back to her. Either way, the storyline had taken on a life of its own, twisting further than anyone imagined. Inside the Frost home, silence was heavier than shouting. Rasheeda barely spoke to Kirk, answering him with clipped words when she had to. The kids watched in confusion. Old wounds reopened in a house that had only just started to feel whole again. At night, Rasheeda cried quietly, praying no one would hear her, while Kirk sat downstairs scrolling through his phone, watching his reputation burn in real time. "How many more times do I have to be the villain?" he whispered to himself. But deep down he knew the answer every time he gave Jasmine the opening. Meanwhile, Jasmine seemed to thrive in the chaos. She was spotted at a rooftop lounge with friends, laughing so loud that even from a distance, people could tell she was unbothered. A fan who recorded her claimed she said, "They can hate me all they want. At the end of the day, he chooses me." The clip went viral within hours, sparking another wave of outrage. "So she really thinks this is cute," fans posted. "Rasheeda deserves better, period." Producers at Love and Hip Hop smelled opportunity. Rumors flew that Mona Scott Young immediately arranged a secret meeting with Jasmine and Kirk. pressuring them to bring the story to the cameras. "This is TV gold," she allegedly told them. "But if you're in, you're all in. No half-truths. No dodging." Some claimed Kirk hesitated, knowing how raw Rasheeda's pain still was. But Jasmine, she reportedly leaned forward, smiled, and said, "I was born for this." The tension bubbled over when Rasheeda showed up at her boutique and was ambushed by paparazzi. One shouted, "Are you leaving Kirk for good this time?" Another yelled, "Do you think Jasmine is manipulating him?" Rasheeda, holding back tears, kept walking, but finally stopped, turned, and said, "I'm done letting people play with me. Done." The clip became headline news within minutes, and fans erupted with hope that she would finally cut ties. But some, jaded from years of similar drama, weren't convinced. "We've heard this before," one fan commented. "Let's see if she actually follows through." Behind closed doors, Kirk attempted damage control. He arranged a private dinner with Rasheeda, bringing flowers, apologizing again and again. "It was a mistake," he insisted. "You know I love you. You know this family is everything to me." But Rasheeda was unmoved. "Love doesn't look like this, Kirk," she said coldly, pushing the flowers aside. "Love doesn't embarrass me over and over." Her words cut sharper than any scream, leaving Kirk staring at his plate, realizing he might finally lose her for good. Then came another twist that sent the internet into meltdown. Screenshots leaked of alleged text messages between Kirk and Jasmine. In them, Kirk supposedly wrote, "I needed this break with you. I can't keep pretending at home." Jasmine allegedly replied, "You know you always got me. Stop lying to yourself." Whether real or fake, the screenshots were enough to spark frenzy. Fans flooded comment sections, tagging Rasheeda, demanding answers, and warning her to leave. "Sis, the receipts are right there." One post read, "Don't ignore them this time." One post read, "Don't ignore them this time." Celebrities joined the conversation too. Yandi Smith went live on Instagram, shaking her head. "This is not even entertaining anymore, it's heartbreaking. Rasheeda is a queen, and she doesn't deserve this cycle." Even Lil Scrappy threw in shade during a podcast, saying, "At some point, a man gotta respect his household. If not, somebody else gon' respect it for him." His cryptic words fueled new rumors with someone else waiting to step into Rasheeda's life. The situation spiraled further when Jasmine herself broke her silence at last. Sitting on a velvet couch during a filmed interview, she smirked at the camera and said, "People hate me because I don't hide. I don't lie about what it is. If Kirk wants me around, that's his choice. Don't put all that on me." The boldness shocked fans, and while some admired her refusal to back down, most tore her apart in the comments. "Proud side chick energy," one fan mocked. Another added, "You're smiling while another woman collapses in pain. Sick." And in the midst of all this chaos, Rasheeda faced her own breaking point. Close friends revealed she began exploring legal options, talking to lawyers about what separation would mean for her businesses, her kids, her finances. The Frost Empire, once united, now hung by a thread. "She's serious this time," one friend whispered. "This isn't just a fight. This is the end." But just when fans thought the drama couldn't get any heavier, a new rumor surfaced that turned everything upside down. Jasmine might not have been the only woman Kirk had seen during his vacation. Another mysterious name, another potential scandal, was about to enter the story, and the fallout would send shockwaves through Atlanta all over again. The streets were buzzing louder than ever, fans glued to their screens, bracing for the next revelation. Because with Kirk Frost, the mess never ends, it only multiplies. The whispers about a second woman turned the already boiling scandal into a full eruption. At first, fans dismissed it as internet exaggeration, the kind of rumor bloggers invented to stir more clicks. But then, a grainy photo emerged: Kirk at the same Caribbean resort, standing a little too close to a woman who was definitely not Jasmine. She wasn't a familiar face from Love and Hip Hop. She wasn't part of the usual circle. She was a complete mystery, her features blurred by distance. But her hand was on Kirk's arm in a way that screamed intimacy. The photo ricocheted across gossip blogs within minutes. Headlines screamed, "Another woman in the picture," and Kirk's vacation secrets multiply. Fans were floored. So not only was he with Jasmine, he had a backup. One furious commenter wrote, "This man is addicted to betrayal." Others speculated that the mystery woman was the real reason Kirk went to the Caribbean, and Jasmine was simply a convenient cover. Theories multiplied so fast that you couldn't scroll without seeing people arguing in the comments. Back in Atlanta, Rasheeda saw the new photo and broke down all over again. According to insiders, she threw her phone across the room, shouting, How many women is it going to take before he destroys everything? Friends rushed to comfort her, but nothing could soften the humiliation of seeing her marriage dragged, once again, through public mud. It's not just one mistake, she told a close confidant. It's a pattern, and patterns break people. Jasmine, on the other hand, was furious. The idea that another woman might have been involved threatened her spot in the drama. She reportedly texted Kirk late at night, demanding answers. "Don't play me for a fool." One message read, "If you wanted to be with somebody else, say that. Don't use me as your cover story." Kirk, cornered, responded with his usual excuses. "It was nothing. You know you're the only one I trust." But Jasmine wasn't convinced, and her pride wouldn't let her stay quiet. She went live on Instagram the next day, sipping champagne, her tone dripping with sarcasm. "Funny how people want to add extras to a story they don't even know," she said, rolling her eyes. "But let me tell y'all something. I'm not the side piece. Never been. I'm the one he calls. Period." The clip sent fans into a frenzy. "So you're basically confirming it?" One follower commented. Others mocked her. "Sis, you just admitted you're his go-to, which means side chick energy forever." The cast of Love and Hip Hop could not resist jumping in. Carly Red posted a shady TikTok lip-syncing to the line, "You knew what it was when you signed up." Bambi followed with a laughing emoji, under a post about the mystery woman, which only made fans speculate more. Even young Jock cracked jokes on his radio show. "Man, Kirk out here building a whole vacation roster," he laughed. Corner of Atlanta was talking. Every fan was watching, and the question that echoed through the streets was simple. If Rasheeda finally walked away, would Kirk run straight into Jasmine's arms or into the arms of someone even more unexpected? Because the truth was clear. The drama wasn't ending. It was only spiraling, dragging everyone in its path. And the next revelation, insiders whispered, was the one that would break the Frost family wide open by the time the emails about the mystery woman hit every gossip blog. The Frost family wasn't just trending, they were unraveling. The scandal had spiraled into something far bigger than a messy love triangle. It was now a saga of betrayal, humiliation, and secrets that seemed to multiply by the day. Every fan wanted answers. Every outlet wanted the exclusive, and every member of the cast was ready to throw in their 2 cents. Because the spotlight had never burned this hot. Rasheeda, exhausted and drained, finally stopped protecting her image. She showed up to her boutique in sweatpants and a hoodie, her face bare, looking nothing like the glamorous boss fans were used to. Paparazzi swarmed her, but she didn't hide. Instead, she looked straight into the cameras and said, "I'm not going to let a man define me anymore. I'm done covering for people who don't deserve me." The clip went viral, her vulnerability breaking the internet. Fans flooded her comments. "We got you, sis. Walk away with your crown. Don't let him drag you down again." But beneath the applause, some doubters whispered, "We've heard this before. Will she actually leave this time?" Meanwhile, Kirk was under siege. Every business meeting, every appearance turned into a circus. At one event, a heckler shouted, "Where's Jasmine?" while another screamed, "How many women you got now?" Kirk tried to laugh it off, but his face betrayed the weight of the scandal. In private, insiders said he was unraveling. "He doesn't sleep," one source claimed. "He knows this time he pushed it too far." But Jasmine wasn't backing down. She doubled down instead. At a nightclub appearance, she strutted in wearing a sparkling gown, hair flowing, unbothered by the whispers. She even leaned into the attention, telling the DJ to drop a track with the hook. "He's mine, you just met him first." The crowd gasped, some cheering, others booing. Phones went up, clips spread, and by morning, her bold stunt had reignited the feud. She mocking Rasheeda to her face now. She mocking Rasheeda to her face now. Blog wrote, "No shame, no remorse." The cast couldn't resist the drama. Carly Red went live, fanning herself with exaggerated expressions. "Baby, I can't even keep up anymore," she said, laughing. First Jasmine, then another chick, now emails. Kirk out here acting like he's auditioning for The Bachelor. Young Jock chimed in again, this time looking serious. "I know Kirk. I love Kirk, but he's got a sickness for this. He can't stop hurting the one person who's been holding him down. And one day, he gon' wake up and realize it's too late." Fans praised Jock for keeping it real, and the clip spread just as fast as Jasmine's nightclub moment. The producers of Love and Hip Hop were licking their lips. Mona Scottyyoung reportedly scheduled an emergency meeting with Rasheeda. "The world is watching you," she told her. "If you're ready to speak, we'll give you the platform, but it has to be raw. No filters, no rehearsals. Just truth." Rasheeda sat quietly, thinking, before whispering, "Maybe it's time." That one line leaked, and suddenly, speculation grew. Was Rasheeda finally preparing to tell her side in full on camera once and for all? But then another twist shattered what little piece was left. The mystery woman herself finally came forward, posting on her private page, which fans quickly dug up. She shared a blurry selfie of herself with Kirk. Their heads leaned close together, captioned simply, "Since they want the truth." The photo set off alarms everywhere. Bloggers reposted it, fans dissected it, and Rasheeda, seeing it for the first time, reportedly screamed into a pillow before smashing a vase across the room. "Enough is enough," she cried, her voice shaking. The betrayal wasn't just public anymore, it was suffocating her in private. Friends revealed Rasheeda started packing bags, telling those closest to her that she couldn't take the humiliation another day. But Kirk, realizing she might really leave, showed up begging. Neighbors reportedly heard him pleading at the front door. "Don't do this, Rasheeda. Don't let them win. Don't let them tear us apart." But she wasn't moved. "They didn't tear us apart," she spat. "You did?" The fallout spread to their circle. Candy Burris, usually quiet on Frost drama, even chimed in during an interview. "At some point, respect is more important than history. You can't keep choosing someone who keeps choosing to hurt you." Her words added fuel to the fire, convincing fans that Rasheeda needed to walk away once and for all. But just as the narrative seemed set, another revelation hit the blogs. Screenshots leaked of Jasmine texting someone else, possibly another man, while Kirk was with her on vacation. The messages hinted that Jasmine might have been playing Kirk as much as he played Rasheeda. "Let him take the heat," one alleged text read. "I'll be good either way." Fans exploded with shock. "So Jasmine had a whole backup plan to," one comment read. "This is straight out of a soap opera." Now the scandal wasn't just about Kirk betraying Rasheeda. It was about everyone betraying everyone. A tangled web of lies and double-crosses that left no one clean. The family was divided, the fans were obsessed, and the cast was cashing in, and through it all, the same question grew louder. Could Rasheeda finally break free? Or would history repeat itself one last time, dragging her back into Kirk's endless cycle of betrayal? Because with every twist, every leak, every revelation, one thing became clear. The story was far from over, and the next bombshell, it would leave Atlanta gasping. The Jasmine vacation saga had already turned into the kind of scandal that kept Atlanta glued to their phones, but the latest leaks pushed it into full-blown chaos. The screenshots, suggesting Jasmine herself was double-playing Kirk, were like throwing gasoline on a wildfire. Suddenly, the narrative flipped. Instead of Jasmine being seen as Kirk's dangerous weakness, fans started calling her the puppet master, the one who outplayed both Kirk and Rasheeda in a game they didn't even know they were in. "She's not dumb," one fan tweeted. "She's been playing chess while everyone else was playing checkers." Blogs ran with the idea, plastering headlines like "Jasmine outsmarts Kirk. Is she the real winner of the vacation bombshell?" Meanwhile, Rasheeda was caught between rage and exhaustion. Seeing the texts didn't make her feel better. If anything, it made her sicker. "So I've been humiliated by two people who can't even be loyal to each other," she told a friend, her voice shaking. "That's not betrayal. That's mockery." Kirk, however, was spiraling. For years, he had been able to sweet-talk his way out of almost anything, always finding a way to slide back into Rasheeda's good graces. But now he looked like a fool too. The man who thought he had the upper hand was suddenly exposed as Jasmine's pawn. Insiders said he stormed into Jasmine's condo demanding answers. "You've been playing me this whole time," he shouted, pacing the living room. Jasmine.com, as ever, crossed her legs and smirked. "Don't get mad at me for being smarter than you. You thought you could use me for a vacation cover. Guess what? I got my own covers." The confrontation grew heated. Neighbors claimed they heard glass shattering and Kirk's voice booming through the walls. At one point, Jasmine allegedly yelled, "Go back to your wife, since you're too weak to admit you'll never leave her." The fight didn't stay private for long. A neighbor leaked an audio snippet to a gossip page, and soon fans were dissecting every word. "She basically told the truth," one commenter wrote. "He'll never leave Rasheeda, and Jasmine knows it." Others mocked Kirk mercilessly. "Man went on vacation and still lost." Meanwhile, Rasheeda was being pulled in every direction. Her boutique was swarmed with customers offering sympathy. Friends encouraged her to file for divorce, and fans bombarded her with DMs, urging her to stand up for herself. But then came the unexpected twist. Her oldest son publicly defended her in an Instagram live. "Y'all don't understand the weight my mom carries," he said, his voice breaking. "She's held this family down for decades, and she deserves peace, not this." The raw honesty of his words touched fans. And hashtag #ProtectRasheeda started trending. But the producers of Love and Hip Hop weren't interested in peace. They wanted drama, and they got it when they managed to bring Kirk, Jasmine, and Rasheeda into the same studio for a filmed sit-down. The energy was toxic from the start. Rasheeda sat stiff, arms crossed, her eyes red but steady. Jasmine walked in with a sly smile, clearly ready for confrontation. And Kirk, he looked defeated, slumping in his chair as though he knew whatever was about to happen couldn't be spun in his favor. The cameras rolled. The tension was electric. Rasheeda broke the silence first. "You embarrassed me in front of the world again. And for what? For somebody who's laughing at you behind your back." Jasmine rolled her eyes, replying, "Don't be mad at me because your man can't stay put. I don't chase him. He comes to me." Kirk muttered, "That's not fair, Jasmine," but his voice was drowned out by Rasheeda's sharp retort. "Not fair. You ruined our family." Again. Fans who got hold of leaked snippets from the taping described it as the most explosive argument in Love and Hip Hop history. At one point, Rasheeda reportedly stood up, pointing directly at Jasmine. "You're nothing but a parasite, feeding off my life, my marriage, my pain." Jasmine shot back, "If I'm a parasite, what does that make him for letting me in?" The line sent shockwaves through the audience. Gasps filled the studio. Even Mona Scott-Young, usually composed, looked shaken as she tried to keep the cameras rolling. The confrontation didn't solve anything. If anything, it deepened the fractures. Rasheeda left in tears, refusing to continue filming. Kirk followed, trying to console her, but she pushed him away in front of everyone. "Don't touch me. Don't even look at me," she snapped. Jasmine, left alone on set, shrugged and said, "Guess I win again," before sipping from her water bottle as if nothing had happened. But outside the studio, the drama reached a dangerous new level. Rumors spread that Kirk had been spotted late at night at the mystery woman's apartment, the same woman who had leaked that blurry selfie. Paparazzi photos showed his car parked outside her building, reigniting speculation that Jasmine wasn't his only distraction. The internet exploded. "So he's juggling 3 women while Rasheeda's at home collapsing," one headline screamed. The backlash was so severe that Kirk disabled comments on his Instagram, but by then the damage was irreversible. The Frost Empire was crumbling. Rasheeda was teetering on the edge of freedom. Jasmine was basking in chaos. And Kirk was drowning in the fallout of his own choices. And just when it seemed like things couldn't spiral any further, fans began whispering about a possible tell-all interview, one that promised to reveal the final secret. The fallout from the studio sit-down didn't die quietly. In fact, it was just the beginning of a new chapter that made the Caribbean vacation scandal look like child's play. The Frost name had become a lightning rod. And everywhere you turned, radio shows, Instagram lives, fan podcasts, the same question echoed. How much more could Rasheeda take? And how much deeper was Kirk willing to dig his own grave? In the days that followed, Rasheeda practically disappeared from public view. Her boutique shut its doors early. Her social media fell silent. And she stopped answering calls from even her closest friends. People whispered that she had retreated to her mother's house, a safe haven away from the chaos, where she spent her days crying in silence and replaying every mistake that had led her back to this same painful place. "She's not herself," a family insider revealed. "It's like watching a queen lose her crown." Kirk, on the other hand, didn't get the luxury of silence. Everywhere he went, the scandal followed him. At one restaurant, a group of fans booed him as he entered, shouting, "Where's Jasmine? Where's the other one?" His attempts to shrug it off fell flat. The man who once carried himself with swagger now looked tired. His shoulders slumped, his eyes heavy. Still, he tried to keep up appearances, posting pictures of himself in the studio, pretending business was booming. But the comments told another story. "Nobody's checking for your music," one fan mocked. "We're just here to see who you cheat with next." Meanwhile, Jasmine basked in the storm. Every appearance she made seemed calculated to stir more fire. She posted vacation throwbacks with captions like, "Good times, unforgettable moments," followed by a wink emoji. She wore outfits that fans claimed were eerily similar to Rasheeda's style, sparking debates over whether she was mocking her rival or simply flaunting her influence. And every time she was spotted out, whether laughing with friends or strutting into a club, cameras caught her. The internet dubbed her the villain who loves the spotlight, and though the hate piled high, her name had never been hotter. But then came the whisper of a tell-all interview. Blogs started hinting that Kirk was preparing to sit down with a major outlet to set the record straight. The promise of the full truth sent fans into a frenzy. What was he going to reveal? Was he finally ready to admit everything? To apologize publicly to Rasheeda? To close the chapter with Jasmine? Or to blow the lid off secrets even darker than what had already spilled? The anticipation was electric. When the day came, Kirk walked onto the set looking weary. The interviewer didn't waste time. The world has seen the videos, the photos, the texts. What do you have to say for yourself? Kirk exhaled slowly, rubbing his hands together. Look, I ain't perfect, he began, his voice shaky. I made mistakes. I hurt people I love, and I regret that. But a lot of what y'all seen ain't the whole truth. Fans leaned in, eager for the bombshell. But instead of clearing his name, Kirk dug himself deeper. He admitted to being in the Caribbean with Jasmine, but insisted it wasn't romantic. I was there trying to close chapters, not open new ones, he claimed. Yet the leaked videos of handholding and laughing at dinner painted a very different picture. The interviewer pressed harder. And what about the mystery woman? The selfie? The emails? Kirk shifted uncomfortably. That's being blown out of proportion, he muttered, his tone defensive. People always want to twist things. The audience didn't buy it. Social media lit up with ridicule. Man went on national TV to lie again, one fan wrote. He could at least come up with new excuses. Another posted a side-by-side meme of Kirk saying, "It's not what it looks like," with the caption, his catchphrase since 2015. What fans didn't expect, though, was the counterpunch. Just hours after Kirk's interview aired, Jasmine fired back with her own explosive video. Sitting in her living room, dressed in silk pajamas, she looked straight at the camera and smirked. Closure. That's what we calling it now, she asked, raising an eyebrow. If closure looks like candlelit dinners, late-night talks, and sneaking around, then yeah. I guess we had closure. She leaned forward, her voice dripping with confidence. Stop letting that man fool y'all. He wasn't there for peace. He was there because he can't stay away from me. Her words sent the internet into a meltdown. Fans dragged Kirk for trying to spin the story, while others turned their fury on Jasmine for pouring gasoline on the fire. Both of them toxic. One post read, Rasheeda needs to leave them clowns behind. But Jasmine wasn't done. She pulled out her phone mid-video and scrolled through what appeared to be saved text threads. You wanna play? She teased. I got receipts too, but I'll let him squirm a little longer. The threat of more leaks loomed over everything, and fans waited like sharks, circling for blood. Rasheeda, watching from her mother's house, reportedly broke down again. They're taunting me, she sobbed to a friend. They don't even care how much this hurts. For her, it wasn't just betrayal anymore, it was humiliation, weaponized. Her pain turned into entertainment for millions. This isn't love, this is torture, she whispered. But the story didn't stop there. A few days later, a secret recording leaked. Audio captured Kirk and Jasmine during that Caribbean dinner, their voices hushed but intimate. You know I'll always care about you, Kirk said softly. Jasmine laughed. Care? Baby, you love me. You just don't want to say it out loud. The audio cut off after clinking glasses, but it was enough. Enough to confirm the intimacy. Enough to destroy Kirk's flimsy defenses. Enough to reignite the fury. The backlash was nuclear. Fans tagged Rasheeda nonstop, urging her to leave. Sis, you got the whole internet begging you to walk away. One comment read, don't let history keep repeating itself. Even celebrities weighed in again. Erica Mena tweeted, sometimes strength ain't staying, it's leaving. Cardi B, never shy about drama, posted an Instagram story shaking her head, saying, women gotta know their worth. You ain't supposed to collapse. You supposed to walk out with your head high. Under this avalanche of public pressure, Rasheeda finally made her move. She called her lawyer. The whispers of divorce weren't whispers anymore, they were real, concrete steps toward freedom. When news broke that papers were being drafted, the internet erupted in celebration. About time, finally, reclaiming her crown. New era Rasheeda loading. Hashtags like hashtag free RASHEEDA and hashtag bosslady UNCHAINED began trending. But Kirk wasn't ready to let go. Sources said he showed up at Rasheeda's mother's house, pounding on the door, begging for forgiveness. Please, don't do this, he pleaded. We can fix it. We always fix it. Rasheeda stood firm. Not this time. I've given you every chance, and you've thrown them away. Her words cut deep. And for the first time in years, Kirk had no comeback. He left defeated, his empire crumbling around him. Still, Jasmine wasn't done playing her role. She posted a cryptic caption on Instagram. When the queen walks out, who do you think sits on the throne? Fans lost their minds. This girl really thinks she's replacing Rasheeda, one comment said. Others mocked her delusion. "Sis, you're not the queen, you're the chaos." But beneath the jokes, a darker truth simmered. Jasmine wasn't content with just being part of the scandal, she wanted the spotlight. And if Kirk and Rasheeda's marriage finally shattered, she saw her chance to step into the story as more than the other woman. The streets buzzed louder than ever. Fans couldn't look away. Every update, every post, every whisper added fuel to the fire. The Frost Empire wasn't just shaking, it was crumbling in real time, and everyone was watching. And yet, as explosive as the vacation bombshell had been, insiders warned that the real twist hadn't even landed yet, because while Kirk and Jasmine played their messy games and Rasheeda edged closer to freedom, there was one final revelation that threatened to destroy not just a marriage, but an entire legacy. And when that truth surfaced, Atlanta wouldn't just be buzzing, it would be burning. The fallout only grew more toxic in the weeks that followed. The Frost drama was no longer just a love and hip-hop scandal, it had turned into a cultural talking point. Dissected on morning radio shows, in barbershops, at nail salons, even in church pews on Sunday mornings. Everywhere Rasheeda went, people whispered. Everywhere Kirk appeared, people stared. Jasmine, on the other hand, seemed to glide through the chaos as if it was fuel for her. The story had become too big to ignore, and no one could escape it. Rasheeda's decision to file for divorce hit the internet like a bomb. Bloggers dropped the story late one evening, but by morning it had taken over every platform. Screenshots of the alleged legal filings spread across Twitter, and hashtags like hashtag RASHEED, A-Files and hashtag divorce papers trended all day. Fans celebrated, posting memes of Rasheeda walking away from Kirk with crowns and fire emojis. "Finally, our girl taking back her power," one comment read. Another added, "She built an empire. She doesn't need him dragging her down." Built an empire. She doesn't need him dragging her down. But while fans cheered, Rasheeda was quietly unraveling behind closed doors. Filing the papers hadn't brought her relief, it brought fresh waves of grief. At her mother's house, she cried in the kitchen, confessing to a close friend, "It feels like I failed. I tried so hard to hold my family together, and now I'm the one tearing it apart." Her mother put a hand on her shoulder and said gently, "Baby, you didn't fail, he failed you." Still, the weight of 2 decades of love, betrayal, and survival pressed heavily on her chest. Kirk, meanwhile, refused to accept it was over. He began showing up unannounced at Rasheeda's boutique, sending extravagant bouquets, even making dramatic pleas on social media. In one post, he wrote, "A mistake don't erase love. We built something that can't be broken." The comments section lit up with backlash. "Brr, the audacity," one fan mocked. Another wrote, "You've been breaking it for years. Let her heal." His attempts at public sympathy only painted him as desperate. A man watching his empire slip through his fingers. Jasmine, ever the provocateur, seized the moment. She posted a photo of herself lounging by a pool, a cocktail in hand, with the caption, "Funny how crowns fall when you ain't holding on tight enough." The internet erupted. Did she just shade Rasheeda? Fans gasped. Screenshots flew everywhere. Blogs picked it up, and within hours the comment section of Jasmine's post was a battlefield. Supporters hyped her boldness, while critics called her cruel and heartless. But Jasmine didn't delete the post. If anything, she doubled down, adding in the comments, "Y'all mad, but I ain't the one filing papers." The scandal grew teeth. When Mona Scott Young officially confirmed the drama would headline the next season of Love and Hip Hop, Atlanta, "The fans want authenticity," Mona teased in an interview. "And this story is as real as it gets." The announcement sent the fandom into a frenzy. People began speculating about on-camera confrontations, alliances, and betrayals. Was Rasheeda going to air Kirk out once and for all? Would Jasmine step into the spotlight as more than the other woman? And what about the mysterious third player? The woman with the blurry selfie and leaked emails, would she make her debut too? Behind the scenes, Rasheeda wrestled with the decision. Part of her wanted to walk away from the cameras, from the spectacle, from the endless cycle of public humiliation, but another part of her, the boss who had built a career out of resilience, knew this was her chance to tell her story on her terms. "If they're gonna watch me cry," she told a friend, "they're gonna watch me rise too." Kirk, however, wasn't so bold. When producers pushed him to film, he hesitated. "I don't want my family destroyed on TV," he argued. Mona countered sharply, "Your family is already destroyed. The cameras didn't do that, too did." The words cut deep, but Kirk had no defense. Eventually, he agreed to film, knowing the paychecks and the chance to spin his narrative were too big to refuse. Filming began with a bang. The very first scene captured Rasheeda walking into her boutique. cameras zooming in on her swollen eyes and trembling hands. She looked straight at the lens and said, "This ain't the life I wanted, but it's the life I got. And I'm done pretending." The raw honesty of the moment sent chills through fans when snippets leaked online. "She's about to give us the season of the century," one fan wrote. Another added, "Protect Rasheeda at all costs." The next bombshell came when Kirk and Jasmine were spotted filming together. Paparazzi caught them leaving a downtown restaurant, microphones clipped to their clothes, producers trailing behind. The sight sent the internet into meltdown. "So he really sitting down with Jasmine on camera while his wife files for divorce?" one headline screamed. Fans dragged Kirk mercilessly, calling him shameless and others tore into Jasmine for reveling in Rasheeda's pain. Yet despite the backlash, curiosity soared. Everyone wanted to see what was said at that dinner. And when the first leaks from the scene surfaced, it was even messier than expected. Kirk reportedly told Jasmine, "You know you'll always be a part of my life," to which she replied with a sly smile, "Then stop acting like you're ashamed of me." The line alone set social media ablaze. Memes poured out, captions mocking Kirk as the man with two wives, and jokes about Jasmine auditioning to be Atlanta's new queen. But just as fans thought the scandal had reached its peak, a new revelation dropped that shook the story to its core. A popular gossip blogger released what they claimed were court documents showing Kirk had been funneling money into a private account linked to Jasmine. The implication was explosive that Kirk hadn't just betrayed Rasheeda emotionally, but financially. The receipts showed transfers, deposits, even notes that appeared to be thinly veiled payments. One read, "For the trip, dated just days before the Caribbean getaway." The internet exploded in outrage. "So he's using Rasheeda's empire to fund Jasmine's lifestyle," one fan posted. "This ain't cheating. This is embezzlement." The story trended worldwide, dragging Kirk's reputation even further into the mud. Rasheeda, upon hearing the news, reportedly went ballistic. "He stole from me," she cried. "Not just from me, from our family. From our future." Her lawyer quickly moved to expand the divorce filings to include financial misconduct, making the split even more brutal. Through it all, Jasmine stayed defiant. When reporters asked her about the financial leaks, she simply smirked and said, "I don't know nothing about his accounts. If he wants to spoil me, that's his business." The clip went viral instantly. Fans called her brazen, shameless, and heartless. But others admitted she had a kind of ruthless confidence that made her impossible to ignore. "She's messy, but she's magnetic." One blogger wrote, "Love her or hate her, you're watching." The Frost saga had become something more than a scandal. It was a spectacle, a public unraveling of love, loyalty, and legacy. And yet, the whispers grew louder. Sources hinted that there was still one secret left to reveal, one so shocking that it would eclipse the vacation bombshell. The mystery woman, even the money leaks. A secret Kirk had buried for years. One that was finally clawing its way to the surface. And when it did, Atlanta wouldn't just gossip. It would erupt. The whispers about one last secret sent the city into overdrive. Blogs teased it without mercy. Fans speculated, non-stop. And even the castmates who usually tried to stay out of Frost drama couldn't resist. Something big was coming, and everyone knew it. The question wasn't if it would surface, but when and what kind of damage it would cause once it did. For weeks, fans thought they'd already seen the worst. The vacation bombshell, the mystery woman, the financial leak, surely there couldn't be more. But then a blogger dropped the kind of scoop that silences a room. In a late-night livestream, holding up papers they claimed were verified. The blogger announced, "Kirk has been hiding another child. And this time, it ain't speculation, it's court documented." The words rippled like an earthquake. Screenshots flew across timelines, threads lit up, and fans gasped in disbelief. "Not again," one wrote. "This man has turned betrayal into a career." The alleged documents pointed to a paternity case, quietly filed months earlier, naming Kirk as the father of a young child with a woman outside of both Jasmine and Rasheeda. The internet went wild. Memes plastered Kirk's face on soap opera covers, captions reading, "As the Frost world turns." Fans mocked, dragged, and raged. So while Rasheeda collapsed, while Jasmine played games, he had a whole other secret family. One tweet screamed. Rasheeda's reaction was devastating. Already worn from betrayal after betrayal, the news broke her spirit all over again. According to insiders, she locked herself in a room, refusing to come out for hours. Until finally, her mother coaxed her out. "Mama, I can't take it anymore," she sobbed. "Every time I think it can't get worse, it does. How do I keep surviving this?" Her mother hugged her tightly, whispering, "You don't survive it, baby, you end it." and you walk away with your dignity intact. Kirk, however, scrambled for control. He called the revelation lies, dismissing the documents as fake news. But his voice didn't carry conviction. The blogs kept digging, and soon more receipts surfaced, photos, messages, even court schedules confirming hearings. The evidence piled so high that denial became impossible. Kirk, cornered, finally admitted in a late-night post, "I made mistakes in the past that are now catching up to me. I take full responsibility." But the damage was done. Fans didn't see responsibility, they saw another betrayal stacked on top of years of chaos. Jasmine's single quotes S reaction shocked everyone. Instead of gloating, she appeared rattled. During an Instagram live, she admitted, "I didn't even know about this. I thought I was the only one he couldn't leave alone. Turns out, I'm just part of a pattern." The vulnerability in her voice surprised fans, but sympathy was fleeting. "You thought you were special," one commenter mocked. "Welcome to the club." Jasmine ended the live abruptly, clearly shaken, and for the live abruptly, clearly shaken, and for the one that promised to reveal the final secret. Kirk had been hiding all along. The streets buzzed louder than ever, fans holding their breath, because if the vacation bombshell had shattered the Frosts, this final revelation threatened to destroy them completely. First time in the saga, she seemed less like the villain and more like another casualty of Kirk's web. The cast of Love and Hip Hop pounced. Carly Red posted a dramatic clip of herself sipping tea with the caption, "Karma always calls collect." Bambi tweeted, "That's why you never fight for a seat at a sinking ship's table." Even young Jock, who had defended Kirk in the past, finally washed his hands of it. On air, he sighed, "At this point, I don't even got jokes. This is sad. Straight up sad." Fans, though, weren't sad. They were furious on Rasheeda's behalf. They flooded her social media with encouragement, urging her to finalize the divorce and walk away for good. #StandWithRasheeda trended for days, with women across the country posting stories of leaving toxic relationships, citing her as inspiration. She had become more than a reality star. She was a symbol of resilience, even in her pain. But Rasheeda's silence spoke louder than any post. She stopped engaging online altogether, focusing instead on her businesses, her children, and her healing. Friends said she was building walls around her heart, determined to protect what little strength she had left. "She's done playing the fool," one confidant revealed. "This time, she's not going back." Kirk, meanwhile, grew isolated. His friends stopped defending him, his children distanced themselves, and even Jasmine faded into the background. The man who once thrived in the spotlight now found himself shunned. His name a punchline, his legacy in tatters. He wandered through Atlanta like a ghost, paparazzi snapping photos of him alone at restaurants, his head in his hands. The captions were merciless. From Frost to Finished. The production team, of course, leaned in. They filmed every breakdown, every confrontation, every tear. Mona Scott Young teased in interviews that the upcoming season would be the rawest, most shocking season we've ever had. Clips showed Rasheeda in tears, Kirk begging on his knees, Jasmine storming off set. The trailers alone broke records for views, fans salivating for the full story. The line between entertainment and tragedy blurred completely, and people couldn't look away. The season premiere delivered chaos. The opening scene showed Rasheeda walking into a lawyer's office, her face a mixture of grief and determination. The cameras caught her signing papers, whispering, "This is for me. This is for my peace." Fans erupted with cheers, posting, "Boss lady moves." But the celebration quickly turned to heartbreak as the episode unfolded. Kirk crashed one of her events, begging for forgiveness on camera, shouting, "I'll do whatever it takes." Rasheeda, holding back tears, told him, "You've already done everything, and that's why I'm leaving." The line sent fans into a frenzy, memes flying, hashtags spiking. Meanwhile, Jasmine delivered her own jaw-dropping moment. During a group scene, surrounded by castmates, she admitted, "I thought he was gonna leave her for me. I really did. But now I see he was never leaving anybody, he was just dragging all of us down." The vulnerability stunned the room. Some castmates offered sympathy, while others rolled their eyes. Carly muttered, "Girl, you knew," sparking yet another screaming match that ended with security stepping in. The chaos was pure gold for TV, and fans ate it up. The child scandal, though, loomed over everything. When the alleged mother of Kirk's newest child finally appeared on screen, jaws dropped. She wasn't a stranger, she was a background figure from the Frost's own social circle. Someone fans vaguely recognized from old episodes. The betrayal cut deeper, proving the saga wasn't just messy, it was dangerously close to home. Rasheeda, upon learning the full truth on camera, broke down sobbing, screaming, "How many more, Kirk? How many more?" The rawness of the moment left fans shaken. The internet ablaze with heartbreak and fury. By the season's midpoint,